hard. I always forget to get thumbnails, so that's that. There should be one in there. Okay, everybody. Welcome to a new video. These are the books I've read in 2023 so far. I have a goal to read 25 books a year. Last year, I didn't hit it for the first time in a few years since I've set this goal. I do the little reading challenge on Goodreads. Follow me. I think it's at Kat Baviera. I don't know. I'll try to link it in the description box. But my goal is to read 25 again this year. I think last year I hit 22. It was a very busy year, so I give myself a lot of grace. But this year, I'm like, you know what? I can put down that remote. I can take breaks. I've been reading more throughout the day or like more in the morning. Whereas last year I was very much in like that I need to be working all the time. And I'm trying to give myself way more rest, more downtime, more fulfilling activities, more enjoyment. And for me, that's always been reading. I was that kid under my freaking covers at 10 o'clock at night when I was supposed to be sleeping before school with the flashlight trying to finish a book. So I've always been a huge book lover. It's very important to me. So, you know, sometimes we get distracted and other things get in the way or take priority, but I am definitely getting back into, you know, reading more every single day. So these are the ones I've read so far in 2023. There's a pretty good variety in here, I think. Let's just start straight from the top. The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I'm sorry. We all don't know how to say every single name. I should have looked up like a YouTube pronunciation of her name on an interview or something. Rhonda Byrne. The Secret, I know she has many books that look very similar to this. I did buy another one called The Hero, I think, that I'll start eventually. But this is like the OG manifestation book. So powerful, so easy to read and digest. It's like little, like I'll try to show you. It's just like little paragraphs and snippets and quotes, you know. It's just what it is. It's different, powerful speakers and I don't know. It's influential people in this book who know how to manifest a shit ton in their life is what it is. And it is very easy to read and digest, like I said, and it breaks things down about how you can attract abundance into your life. I stand by this book. I think it is amazing. I am going to go through it again because I took notes and I'm going to go through my notes and kind of see what things I can practice, but I've already been practicing things because it kind of just makes it obvious what you're supposed to do. So, The Secret. Book 2, Sharp Objects, and this is not the order in which I read them. Like, this is my morning routine book, so this is not the book I'm like reading at night before bed. This was my morning routine book. I've got another one I'm reading simultaneously. I finished this one, but I have another one I'm reading at the same time that I'm like halfway through with. So once I finish that, I'll start another book for my morning routine. But getting into the rest of these are pretty much novels. Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I know this came out a long time ago or a while ago. I did read Gone Girl when it came out. Loved that book. So it's 2006, so I'm a little late, but you're never too late to read a good book. This was great. It was kind of creepy. It's a thriller. You're wondering, who did it, what's happening, and then there's other storylines going on at the same time. There's a journalist who's writing about different murders that have happened, and the journalist has her own stories going on in her own past. So it's kind of like interweaving stories. I really liked that one. The Bean Trees by Barbara Kingsolver. Every time I say the Bean Trees, I'm like, the Bean Trees. This is, I think, one of 3. I only read this one. I probably won't read the other 2. I'm someone who's like not big on reading trilogies or, series. Like I've read Harry Potter, but I don't know. I haven't really read a lot of other series. It's just not really my thing, or maybe I think it's not my thing and maybe it is my thing. I don't know. But I wasn't like, I mean, this was a good book. I did enjoy the story. It wasn't like, oh my God, like it didn't have this like huge wow factor, but I do think it's worth reading. I think it's a good story. But I did hear from a friend that the second one is like way better. So maybe I will read it someday, but I'm not like rushing out to get it. Daisy Jones and the Six. Taylor Jenkins Reid. I just finished this book this afternoon. So good. If you love the 60s and 70s and 80s music, and you love, even if you don't, like I love the 60s and 70s music, but if you just like watching music documentaries and like documentaries on bands, especially from that time period, you feel like you are watching a documentary. It's all in like interview format. So it has like the name, and it's the entire thing is like an interview format. It is so good. One of the best books I've read in a while. Definitely the best one from this year, I think, as far as like novels go. So good. Couldn't put it down. Such a quick read. They made it into a show. I don't know what network it's on or platform, but I am going to have my husband read this next, and then I'm going to definitely watch that as soon as he's done. I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I should have looked up the last names that I couldn't pronounce. I didn't think about it. But this is a memoir. This is Malala. She is an incredible human being. This is such an important book to read for everyone, no matter your background, no matter what you know about history or not. This is so important. This is current history. This is about the Taliban. This is crucial to know. And it is just fucking mind-boggling. It is mind-blowing that people actually go through these things. It is about women's rights, educational rights. Like, this is crucial. You need to read this. Like, this is important. Go out and read this. She is an incredible human being who survived so much. The Power by Naomi Alderman. This is like a fantasy type book. Some like there's women who have this like electricity in them, and it's all about power, and I think it's a really good read. And it kind of makes you wonder like, oh, what would how would you respond if you were, had this electricity in you that could harm people? It's all about kind of this power trip and about like the patriarchy and feminism. And it is, I think, really good. And it's kind of a fun read as well. I think they made this into a show as well. So I do want to check that out. I have a lot of shows to check out from like books that I've read, a lot of shows and movies. So I kind of want to go through like, I don't know, all the books I've read and kind of see what is out there. The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich. This is another one that's kind of like a fantasy where it's not going to happen. This is a very interesting premise, and it does make you question what you would do if you were in this situation or if this happened in real life. And it's kind of like everything is a cause and effect. So I think this was a really good read, and I remember being a quick read as well, just kind of fun. Heat 2 by Michael Mann and Meg Gardiner. If you have not seen the movie Heat, this is the prequel and the sequel. Like, it's before and after the movie, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. But Heat was a really good movie. I did enjoy that. It's with Robert De Niro, Al Pacino. Really good. I think it's like 3 hours, but it doesn't feel like a 3-hour movie. And then this is, you need to watch that first and then read this, even though I think there's prequel and sequel in here. But really good, based on crime. It's like a crime story kind of, and a detective story. So I do like those as well. I like to have a wide variety of genres. I'm not into every genre, and I'm not typically into fantasy and stuff like that, or like sci-fi. But just having like a nice variety is always fun. And then last but not least, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This I know has been like everywhere. I really enjoyed this book. It is a story about like creating video games, which, believe me, I am not someone who's into video games, but it is very enjoyable, and it's a novel. So it's, it's not just about video games. There is a lot of stories in there about friendship and relationships, and it is really, really good. I think it's definitely worth the read. So those are my reads for 2023 so far. I love books so much, so I do want to post more on YouTube, social media. Follow me on Instagram if you don't. I'll put my handle below. I did a little review on TikTok of these, so I'll link those accounts below. But yeah, I love books. They've always been an important part of my life, so I just kind of want to share that because it's fun for me. And I always love hearing what everyone else is reading, so please drop your favorites below in the comments. You know, if you've read any of these, if you have any books that you have been loving this year that you have read. These aren't like my favorite books. These are just the ones I've read this year so far. And except for Daisy Jones and the Six, I would say this one, as far as a novel, one of my favorites. This is just like a good read. I would probably recommend from here forward. There's always those books that like stick out in your mind where if someone's like, oh, like, what do you recommend? And whether you read it 10 years ago or last month, there's always those books that stick out in your mind. Like, this is one of the best books. I think this is going to go on my list where it's just a good read that I think everyone would enjoy. And yeah, I think I'm going to start recommending this one for sure. And then I Am Malala. I tried to intermix like historical books in there, memoirs, books about racial justice or certain periods in time about, slavery or World War II, like important things that we need to know. And this is definitely going up there on my list. I Am Malala. I think this is super, super crucial. So I do hope you go and read this one and then this for like a fun read. So those are definitely two of my favorites, probably, up there with a lot of my favorite books, but the rest are what I've read so far for 2023. I'm excited to see what my other, rest of the 25 books that I'm going to read at least. I'm going to hit that 25 goal. So I'll post an updated video maybe in the next month or two and see what else I've gotten into. But thanks so much for watching. Comment your favorite books below or books that you are reading so far this year. I would love to hear. I love adding to my list. I love knowing what other people are into reading, and it's just fun and we can bond over it. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.